So what's up guys, here's your boy Kuya Kevs, or should I say, my name is Kevin Marcoa Gonzalez, and for today's video, I'm gonna give you some tips of how to avoid communication breakdowns. There are four kinds of communication breakdown, which is what we call physical barrier or physiological barrier. We got psychological, linguistic, and cultural. So we're gonna tackle each one of those, and I'm gonna give you 5 tips of how to avoid it. So let's start the video. So first on the list is physiological barrier or physical barrier. Physical barrier is a natural phenomenon that happens every day. Like for example, a construction site, videoke, karaoke, or a crowd of people talking so loud. So it happens in everyday life that we have as human beings. So my first tip of how to avoid is go far. What do I mean by that? If you're talking to someone and you don't need to belong to that place, then go far. So somehow that noise will be silent and minimized so you can talk to her or his so you can understand each other and with a clearness of your communication. The second is go to a place that can minimize the sound, which is if you're in a place that you are totally not allowed to go far, then go to a room which is a silent room that you can minimize the sound. The third tip that I'm gonna give you is ask them as a polite way. Ask them that if they can minimize, like for example, a crowd of people. So you can ask them, sir, ma'am, can you minimize the sound of your way of talking? You're too loud. And my next tip is to let pass. For example, cars, horn, sound of the vehicles. Let them pass first so you can talk to them. So, for example, a car passed by your side and you're talking to someone but you can't hear that. Then let it pass. Then you go back to the topic. So what was that again? And you continue the topic. That's how you avoid physiological barrier or physical barrier. Now let's go to number 2. So number 2 is psychological barrier. So what is a psychological barrier? A psychological barrier is a strong emotion which we feel inside, like trauma, shyness, depression, and anxiety. So my tips for those are, first, clear your mind. When you have this kind of problem, because this is psychological, and you are aware to yourself that you're gonna talk to someone, having a communication, you must clear your mind first. The other one is take a deep breath. So while clearing your mind, you breathe. The next is face to the mirror. Talk to yourself that I'm ready for this. I can do this. I can talk to people without thinking the other matter. The next is wake yourself up. What do I mean by that? Like this. Slap yourself because a strong emotion is a very hassle to a people. Having strong emotion that you cannot talk properly is a very hassle. So you must wake up yourself so you can prepare for the communication and avoid psychological barrier. Lastly, meditate. If you are not yet gonna have a conversation but somehow you are aware that you're gonna have conversation with someone but not yet, learn to meditate. It's like a process clearing your mind but also making your body calm. So you won't feel anything and a strong emotion will fade away. So let's go to number 3. So number 3 is linguistic barrier. Linguistic barrier is about language. Meeting other people with different kinds of races. So my first tip is tell to the person that you don't understand his or her language. But how would you do that? You don't understand it. Use the English language. Because if you're talking to a person from a different kinds of races, obviously, the first language that you know the most is English. They are very basic with their language, but the English language is one of their fluent language that they know. Next is try watching different language movies. Like for example, me, I watch an anime. I learned how to speak a little bit of Japanese like arigato, which is thank you, and I can speak a little bit of Malayo because my mother is from Malaysia, which is ako cinta padamu. It means I love you. Next is read books. For example, like me, I'm a lazy person when it comes to reading. But since I become a STEM student, reading is one of the most advantaged thing that you can have as a weapon. When it comes to language, reading is the best because you're not just learning new things, but you're learning new words. So next is learn other language. If you're gonna read a books, obviously you're gonna stumble with a book with a language topic. So like for example, Nipongo, what other language that are written in the book, they're translations, so you can learn that. So next is use the national language. If you can, like what I said, if you cannot understand what the people are saying, say it in an English way. Sir, I don't understand your language. Can you speak in English? So that's how you avoid linguistic barrier. So let's go to the last and the final, number 4. We got cultural barrier. So what is a cultural barrier? A cultural barrier is about opinion, religion, races, and gender. So my tips of how to avoid this is 1. Respect religion. So we got Muslims, we got Iglesia ni Cristo, Christian, born again, Catholic. So why not respect? We are praying with God. And we're talking about religion. Why would you not respect that? So respect religion and everyone will be fine. Next is listen to opinions. When people are talking, having their own opinions, they don't listen because they have their own opinions with it. So I have mine, you have yours, his, her. But first, before you give your opinion, let him or her finish giving that opinion. So somehow you can think it properly if you will agree or you're gonna give your own opinion so you can understand each other. Next is be fair with the gender. We're talking about male, female, gays, lesbians, bisexuals, lots of gender. But we are humans. We are just the same. We need to respect each gender because in the end, we people will help each other. That if you don't respect the gender, it means that you're not gonna receive any help to each one if ever something happens. So respect gender because we are people and we are gonna help each other in the future. Next is respect culture. Like for example, katutubo. You're gonna tell, oh my god, what is that guy wearing? Why are they doing that kind of church thing when it comes to Muslim? Because Muslims have different way of praising a God, which they call Allah. Respect culture because each people in this world have their own culture. Even if you're not active their own culture as a Catholic, as a born again, just respect other culture because, like what I said, we are all people. Next is understanding why they have this thing. Why they have this kind of opinion. Why they have this kind of sayings. Because cultural barrier is about culture. Each one of us is unique people. So we need to understand each one to another because in the end, we will help each other and we are the one who's gonna communicate. So we need to understand why they have this thing. So that's my tips of how to avoid communication breakdown. I hope you learned something. So I'm Kuya Kevs, but my real name is Kevin Marco Gonzalez and I'm out. Thank you for watching.